Okay. So we're gonna get into the real interesting stuff. This is gonna be a quick chat. Like I ain't gonna bore y'all too much. I don't know if I'm contemplating on whether or not I'm gonna insert shorty video. I'm sorry. I'll jump straight to it. That's mad rude. Yo, what's up? How you feeling? Happy Monday. All that. Like I hope you having a good day. I hope you feeling proud of yourself and accomplished and all that. And what you ain't do today, Lord willing, you could do tomorrow. So take care of your business. The day is not over. The night is not done. Make it count. You feel me? All right. But going back to this video concept, like, so there was a young lady that was having a conversation about biphobia. I think I'm gonna insert the video, but I'm going to preface this with I feel like the internet kind of got a little crazy with her, and I don't want that to be the reality. But I do want to have a conversation that is safe, considerate, and open-minded. That's it. I feel like this would appropriately be like a live or something like that. But hopefully maybe I could do like a premiere and I could chat with folks. But it's already fake getting late and I gotta go to the gym and I gotta fold my clothes, like J. Cole said. And all the stuff. But yo, check out the video.
Saying that you wouldn't date a man because he's bisexual is absolutely rooted in biphobia and homophobia. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? You're telling me that you've met a man and he checks off every single one of your boxes. He's smart, he's funny, you're physically attracted to him, he has a well-paying job, he's goal-oriented, like every single thing on your list, this man checks off. But then you find out he's bisexual and all of a sudden, you're no longer attracted to him, you no longer want to date him. Mind you, just 4 syllables ago, you were attracted to him, he was marking off everything, he was your dream guy. It's only because he's bisexual that now you're no longer attracted. And you want me to believe that that's not rooted in biphobia or homophobia. Be so for real. What else could that possibly be rooted in if not rooted in homophobia and biphobia? Then y'all talking about oh, that's just my preference. Sweetheart, I'm gonna hold your hand with an apple or two when I say this. Multiple things can be true at fucking once. You can try to frame it all you want as it just being your personal preference. That does not at all take away from the fact that your personal preference is absolutely rooted in homophobia and biphobia. And this is not a hard concept to understand because y'all understand it just fucking fine when somebody says their preference is not dating someone who's darker or might be heavier set. Y'all can call out the colorism and the fatphobia and that. But now all of a sudden, because your preference is a man who's not bi, now all of a sudden that's just a preference. There's no biphobia or homophobia in that. Y'all finna piss me the fuck off. Then when y'all get to talking about why that's your preference, your argument just gets so much weaker. Talking about oh, well, I just don't want him to cheat on me, or I don't want to get an STD, blah, 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 blah. Straight men do those things too, by the way. I saw one comment talking about oh, if people are going to call out straight women for not wanting to date bisexual men, why aren't we calling out gay men for not dating bisexual women? Sweetie, gay men not dating bi women has nothing to do with the fact that the women are bi. It has everything to do with the fact that they like dick. Honestly, now, this is my personal experience, okay? I'm not saying that this is universal because at the end of the day, it's still a man. And I understand that. But as someone who has dated both bisexual and straight men, bisexual men have been better partners to me in every fucking way. They were better communicators. They were more emotionally intelligent. They actually courted and dated me. They were better in bed. And again, I'm not saying that this is a universal experience. Obviously, at the end of the day, a man is a fucking man. I'm just talking about my personal experience. But y'all keep sleeping on bi men, though. Me? I'm gonna sleep with them. Peace and love.
I wanted to hear what she was trying to say because I feel like before you respond to stuff, you should listen to what people are trying to say. When I went into her comment section to kind of get the pulse on what people was feeling about her commentary, I was like, oh, y'all are kind of wilding because they were saying things like, oh, I don't want to get STDs. And I'm like, well, it's not like STDs go into the blood and they like, oh, it's rainbows and glitter in here, I'm gonna stay. No, right? Like if they have a moment of entry, it's up and it's stuck. Like it's just what it is, right? If there is an increased probability of the presence or the transmission because of a type of sex, that could be one thing, but that doesn't mean that there's no way that people are getting sick because that would suggest that hetero people don't get STIs, STDs. That's just not true, right? Like, I don't know why people keep making that kind of conversation. And so on the other side of that, there were people that were saying things like, I don't want to be with somebody that wants the same things that I want. And I think that that's fair. right? Like I don't think that that's an inappropriate comment, but there are some people that was making that comment and leaning into that conversation, but it was just like they were mad. Like fuck out of here. I ain't fucking with no nigga that suck no dick. Like it was crazy, right? So I'm like, okay. So I sat with that and I was like, well, Sarah, what is that internal voice telling you about yourself? And so I will say this. There was a whole conversation about the idea that a bisexual man would be this nice guy and they have this great sex and all this other stuff, because this is the type of stuff that she was putting into this video. And I was like, with all due respect, sis, like, where are all these great men that you were talking about? You see, what gets interesting about this whole thing, we can't have routine conversations about men being terrible people and then think because they're bisexual or that they're gay that they're now great guys. Like I don't know how that how that translates. At least for me, right? Like I haven't met a whole heap of guys, at least not to my knowledge, right? Let me be fair in that. I haven't met a whole bunch of guys that I'm like, "Oh yeah, like they sleep with both and they're a better version of man because of it." That doesn't make sense to me because that's not a straight thread line. Now, do they have a series of environmental interactions that can yield a different outcome and potential empathy? Sure. But if they're also going through more challenges because of their sexuality, they can become a worse version of person too. Both outcomes are equally likely. So I don't think that, respectfully, I don't think that because a guy is gay that he's now like more faithful or more likely to be faithful. Doesn't matter. If he's a guy that feels like as a man we have sexual prowess and we have the right to be promiscuous in our own right, then him being gay or bisexual or straight doesn't matter. Right? So I was taken aback by understanding that. Like if we have all these discussions, why would his sexuality be different? And where are we hiding all of these good guys that happen to fall under the bisexual category? Now, this is where it gets a little bit more I want to say adult. um, when a bisexual guy is actively like in his bisexual spirit, right? There's not a version of me that looks at that person and think that me and them would be sexually compatible, not just because they also find men attractive, but because if we're in a relationship and they want some pipe, what am I supposed to do for them? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like it's literally about my inability to provide you with what you need in this sexual compatibility realm, right? Like when you want some pipe, like I'm supposed to like, okay, like you strap up, you dress up or whatever the case might be. And I'm like, okay, like that's fine, I guess. But I know personally that wouldn't be enough for me, right? So when you in the mood to EAD, like what am I supposed to do? Right? Like what is left? And so I don't want to, again, this is not a bad thing, it's not a wrong thing. It's just also like, sir, I got limitations, right? Like, and inside of thinking of it that way, I'm like, well, why wouldn't, respectfully, a bisexual guy opt for a trans woman that hasn't had bottom surgery? And I'm like, that might be like a bit aggressive, but I'm like, wouldn't that meet the need? Unless you are bisexual and fully capable of monogamy. Like, I'm not going to sit here and take that away from you, but there is a reality where you may have a taste for something and your monogamous relationship may have limitations unless you pick a partner that can offer that sexual compatibility. And some people, like, the young lady, she kind of responded to these kinds of comments and conversation to suggest that men cheat anyway. But I'm like, yeah, but you're putting yourself in a situation where the probability of sexual dissatisfaction is more prevalent and you won't be able to fix it. So why would you opt for it? Right? Like that's a mismatch, and that's a understood mismatch. And I say that from a place of like, even speaking to, like, I have like a childhood friend who is gay, right? But she actually is bisexual, right? Because years ago, this is a long time ago, she was like texting me, like, and or always on IG or something like that, and she was explaining to me that she was having a tough time in her gay relationship because they would do their thing and they would be fine. But she said every once in a while, I'm going to go and see Tim up the street. Like Tim got to come put some work in. because she had an appetite for men still. So I'm saying with that, even in a relationship such as that, this is a woman I'm talking about who's like, yeah, nah, like every once in a while I need that. And she's gay. Like, even if, like, I'm not gonna put her business, like, I'm not gonna put her face front, but even if you've seen her, you wouldn't even think that that's a question. She would make the joke, like, she was like, yeah, men that like me, I think that they're like either bisexual or battling being homosexual because of how she presents. But she's still getting this work. Sexual compatibility matters. The ability to be monogamous, it's a choice, it's a commitment, and so on and so forth. That's a part of it. But why would I take that on knowing that I've had my own experiences that look like if they had a need, they went and found satiation elsewhere, right? Like, what am I supposed to do with that? Am I going to increase that chance that I'm going to be mistreated? I don't think so. So I felt like it was such an interesting conversation. And going back to the young man that I spoke to, one of the things that he said when talking about like the trans women and so on was the idea that they do too much. And I thought that this was important in the crux of this conversation. Uh when the phobia or the response from particularly Black women got very it got heightened, it got aggressive. I'm not gonna lie, but I understood why they were upset, and I'm gonna tell you why. One of the I'll tell you an inappropriate statement. Like, I was talking to a dude long time ago, and he was like, I'm not gonna lie, like, trans women be out here looking better than y'all. And I'm like, yo, bro, if you want to go do your thing, do your thing. Don't let me stop you. You understand, right? But that comment, right? Oftentimes women, specifically Black women, they masculinize us, right? They tell us that we manly, they tell us that we built this type of way and we aggressive and we this and we that. And then all of a sudden we have this emergence. And I'm not blaming trans women at all, but like, hear me out, walk with me through this. You have this emergence of trans women that exist in the space, and the idea, right? And it's going to sound harsh, but forgive me in advance, that someone born a man can just present as a woman and is completely fine, acceptable, and okay, right? And what's tough is, and because I want to acknowledge that the running theme of the women that are particularly vocal against trans women, I would argue they have probably had or felt like they've had to defend their attractiveness. And I think that that's where that venom comes from. And so when we're dealing with the idea that us as Black women are always the least or the lesser desirable, anything and everything. Now, when we get from that trans conversation into this, oh, we're biphobic, it's almost as though, and I want to say this, I don't think that this was the creator's intention, but it kind of leans into that discussion where it's like our hardship, our lack of options, like our inability to be in relationship is also our fault too, right? Like, where it felt like, because you could kind of pick up in that comment, because it was somebody, I'm gonna see if I can actually find a comment, because I might have taken a screenshot of it. This young woman said, leave us alone already. And it was a Black woman talking to this other Black female creator, where it's like another thing that we're not doing correctly. And I think that that was the venom, that was the phobia that we saw. Like, and let me also be clear. There is a group of people that are absolutely anti-bati. Like, they not doing it at all. Like, they like, I don't care, I don't want to. And I think that it's okay to have a preference. But I think that, being honest about where that preference is rooted, right? Like, if you think that he's less manly and all that other stuff, that's fine, right? And I don't think it's fair for me to dictate what your coochie's supposed to react to in the event that you are confronted with this man that comes with this kind of background or this history. If your thing dry up like a raisin because it don't, like, oh, I'm not feeling that at all, who am I? Like, you're not attracted to them. So I think that a healthy barometer, right? Like, and let me not, here's mine, right? Like, here's how I think about it. When I think about the idea of like somebody bisexual or even a man that's had any interaction with another man, the first thing I'm gonna think about is Seth Rogen in 40-year-old version.
I touched a guy's balls at Hebrew school once.
I grabbed a guy's ball at Hebrew school once, right? Like there is space to have a conversation in which it makes sense. But I also want to be honest that I don't think that these situations are as frequent. At least I haven't heard about them. Like I've never come in contact with this type of incident. And in essence, I don't know if I would respond to it the right way or what that would look like, right? The episode of Insecure where it's like, oh, he had an encounter, like, oh no, I was with a guy once, and it's like, oh, I wasn't with it, I didn't like it, and so on and so forth. That's a situation that I feel like if I were to encounter that, I don't know if I would reject the guy. Like, and I'm being honest, like genuinely, wholeheartedly, because I'm like, I've been around guys, right? Again, going back to we have conversations about toxic masculinity all the time, and it's like, why would we think that coercion and all of these different things that we talk about as women, why would we believe that that wouldn't permeate the male space? Like, why would we think that the toxic masculinity is limited to that, right? Like, if a guy gets violated by another guy, do you now throw him aside because you believe that his masculinity is up for question? And it really just comes down to, does this person that you're dealing with, do they have an actual attraction that they want to facilitate with other men? And do you have the ability to meet that need? Is that compatibility real or not? And so again, I get it in the sense that like it's a lot to consider, but I think that the conversation around sexual compatibility is an important one and one that's often overlooked. And not to mention, let me say this too. I think I'm gonna find this young lady because this came up before. I don't think that it's cool when we weaponize what like the partners that we choose and what they like to do. I'm gonna see if I find it. Because it might not still be up, but I'm gonna see if I can find it. But there was a young lady that had this whole conversation about who she married, and she married him quickly, and he liked his prostate massagers with bigger tools other than your hands. Um, and she married him and was with all the antics and everything else. But then, as she existed in that space, she became uncomfortable that that is who she had become in the relationship, right? Like she wasn't looking to be a person that pegs and all this other stuff. And once she got into it, then the homophobia started to bubble up for her, right? Then it was like, oh, he's sitting on the couch and he looking funny, and I don't like how he crossed his feet. But I'm sitting there saying to myself, like, well, sis, like, why would you opt to deal with this man in this way and then be mad at the man because you decided to participate? Like, it's like, oh, if you try it out and you don't like it, it's like, okay, you didn't like it. But this was a norm in their relationship because, again, they made the decision to marry. So I feel like we got to do better than that. I'll be honest. I don't think that that's nice. I don't think that that's cool to like get into the weeds and it's like, yeah, we doing all this, we bumping uglies and we doing all the stuff and you milking dudes and all that. You doing all the prostate playing and then like when stuff go bad or you start to judge them and you say, you can respectfully exit. I think that there's nothing wrong with that because that's fine, right? Maybe you didn't know that that wasn't something that you was into. But to leave that situation and keep going and then weaponize it after the fact, I don't think that that's cool. Right. So I don't think there's anything wrong with saying like, yo, that's past my vanilla. Like, yeah, like I'm not doing none of that. I'm not touching all that. We not having a conversation about dudes talking about you. I don't even use a rag down there to now you talking about I'm supposed to play in that. Nah, I'm cool, dogs. I'm cool. I am cool. I'm passing on all the antics. At this point, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna get a cane corso, call it a day. I'm fine. But I would love to know what y'all think, right? Like, and again, in a respectful way, like we don't want to make people feel bad. You could state your preference um without insisting that this person is going to be responsible for your contraction of any kind of infection as if that's, exclusive to a particular group of people. I don't think that that's appropriate. But, is it fair to say that like it's not our fault and like it's okay for us to not want to do this thing in this way. This is a little bit more of a risky conversation. So forgive me if it comes across a little bit too rough. And let's talk about it. Later.